let's wrap this out with actually getting into our preview. Obviously, this is the most important game of the season. You win, you get a home playoff game. Yeah, maybe the Cowboys game was the most important game of the season because that actually secured a spot in the playoffs. But you win, you get a home playoff game. You could potentially knock the Buffalo Bills out of the playoffs. And with how they're playing recently, 4 games that they've won in a row, you look at how weak the Chiefs are. It's like if it's not the Ravens, you feel pretty good about whoever wins the AFC East being the second best team, second most likely team to make it to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. In division rivalry, they've controlled this division for 3 or 4 years now, ever since Brady left New England, and this is a real test for the Miami Dolphins to overcome adversity, overcome a team that beat us by 30 points earlier this year, a team that has the momentum. They won their 4 games in a row. We just got blown out last week. If we win this game, there is going to be so much different of a vibe versus if we lose this game going into the playoffs, pretty much irregardless of who we play in the first round. And it's if we do make the playoffs as a wild card team, it's going to be the Chiefs. If we win and we get the home playoff game, we're not sure who's going to be, but there's going to be such a wildly different outlook for the playoffs versus if we win or lose this game.
Yeah, if we win, there's a possibility we could play the Bills again at home in a single week. There's also a chance that we'll know more once the games are played on Saturday and Sunday. Prior to the game, we'll know exactly how the seeding is going to work out. They could completely miss the playoffs. They could sneak into either the 6 or the 7. There's not really a lock for them. It really just depends on who wins and who loses. But that being said, the Ravens have nothing to play for. They already announced that Tyler Huntley is going to be starting. You have the Ravens playing the Steelers. Steelers playing for their life. I got the Steelers in that one. And then the Jags going against the Titans. I know we lost to the Titans. I don't really care. They have 5 wins on the season. Jags probably getting T-Law back. I'm taking the Jags.
And they look pretty morally defeated right now, that Mike Vrabel press conference after the last game.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even think that Will Levis is going to start. He hurt his ankle again last game, so it's probably going to be Tannehill.
Tannehill sucks too, so.
Tannehill, he's going to be a backup for the rest of his career unless he retires. Anyways, back to what I'm saying. This is going to be a win-and-in scenario for the Bills, in my personal opinion. And just that for the Dolphins, to be able to kick them out. This is a playoff game for the Bills. You kick the Bills out, then at home you have either the Texans or the Steelers. I feel very good about either of those, or even the Colts is a possibility too. I feel very good about beating either of those teams. And then to go after that, it's probably going to end up being the Browns, because the Browns are probably going to beat whoever's the 4 seed, whether it be the Colts or the Jags.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, I'd rather play the Browns at home than to have to play if we lose, our first 2 playoff games are going to be Kansas City and then the Ravens.
Yeah, so a lot lies on this game for us.
Yes, 100%.
More lies on this game for them, just on the basis of, they could miss the playoffs entirely. But you go into this game, if you're able to beat them, regardless of if they end up making the playoffs or not, you've now beaten 2 playoff teams, 2 teams with a winning record in 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like that game in the middle, but if you win against the Buffalo Bills with all the injuries, with everything looming over you, you can kind of just scratch that game, say, well, it happened. It's not the first time the Ravens have destroyed a great team this year.
They did it in San Francisco.
Yeah, they did it in San Francisco. They did it to the Lions. Like, they did it to 2 teams that you could see in the NFC Championship game, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not the first time that they've done this. They're the Super Bowl favorites. They're the best team in the league. They have the MVP. Like, they are who they are. It's a little bit unsure. You say they are who they are about them. You know what they're talking about. We are who we are in terms of the Miami Dolphins could mean a good thing or a bad thing. It could mean, we're the best offense arguably this league has ever seen, or it could mean we're a team that continuously lets down when the moment is in front of us. So let's look at the team stats for the Buffalo Bills, and on both sides of the ball, it's really good. You're looking at a top 10 offense, 6th currently in points in the league, 5th in total yards, They've run the ball a lot more this year than in years past. This is something you never thought you would say about a Buffalo Bills team, but they have the seventh most rushing yards in the league, seventh most attempts in the league. They're fifth in rushing touchdowns. They're really good in the red zone, which is something you'd expect when you have a physical quarterback who has a strong arm. You can fit those passes into tight windows because you feel confident with your arm, and also the ability for Josh Allen to move on his own in the red zone. They get to the red zone a lot. They're second in red zone touchdowns. So when they get to the red zone, they usually cap it off with touchdowns. They're the number one third down percentage offense in the entire NFL. And again, a lot of that comes from the quarterback. They have a better third down percentage than the Philadelphia Eagles do, who are they're second. But when the Philadelphia Eagles, they say they feel like they have 1st and 9 every time they get a first down. The Bills are better than that. They do turn the ball over a lot. They have the 5th most turnovers in the entire NFL, and that is the one place you can stop this team. On top of the fact that, surprisingly, they've allowed the most sacks in the NFL. That I was actually surprised to see, that they've allowed the most sacks.
Especially with Pro Bowler Deion Dawkins in there.
Yeah, they've had a lot of injuries across the rest of the offensive line.
Yeah.
But he is that one solidified guy, especially guarding Josh Allen's blind side. So you can get to the quarterback, and you can cause Josh Allen to cause some turnovers. You just the 28th. The fifth most turnovers in the NFL on offense, which is still a damn good offense, all other things considered. If they just don't give you the ball back pretty easily, there's a good chance that they win. And then you look over at defense. They've allowed the 4th fewest points in the league. So great, you go from 1 week playing the team that allows the least amount of points to the 4th least amount of points. So it's not far off. They are better against the pass than they are against the run. They've allowed the 7th fewest passing yards in the league, while they've allowed the 6th or the 17th most rushing yards in the league. They've allowed the 6th fewest total touchdowns. While they're great on offense on third down percentage, not quite the same story. They're 18th on third down percentage on defense. So of the two sides of the ball, which is kind of something you don't really expect to see with a defensive-minded head coach, they're actually better and more efficient on offense, especially from a team that's changed coordinators mid-year. You don't really expect to see the offensive numbers better than their defensive numbers.
Yeah, that's actually surprising. It's kind of surprising, but not as surprising, because Josh Allen, if it's 3rd and 6, you trust him as the Bills, to either make something happen, run someone over. He's not afraid to get physical. We know that. On defense, though, they have a lot of injuries on their star players. We talked about, the injury report. Micah Hyde is on there. He's been on there all year long, pretty much. He's been dealing with injuries. He's been banged up all year. Jordan Poyer's been banged up all year. We just talked about Matt Milano is going to be out. We talked about Jordan Phillips is going to be out. That's their interior guy. So you have that defense, and it's kind of it's also a little bit of a bend, don't break, but also punch you in the mouth, if that makes sense. Because what they do is Bills football. They're going to punch you in the mouth. They're going to hit you hard. They're also going to give up some plays. They're also going to give up big plays. And that, I think, is what hurts them most on third down.
Yeah, they have that physicality, but they're on both sides of the ball. They're at times a little bit too aggressive.
Yes.
They're not afraid to dial up blitzes on defense. On offense, Josh Allen isn't afraid to let it go. He'll roll to his left, throw across his body over the middle of the field. He'll try to fit it in a tight window, on an out route, 20 yards down the field. He's going to try to pick up those yards. And then the same when you see him running the ball. He's not sliding. Mm-hmm. They're trying to pick up every single yard on offense, and they're trying to stop you from picking up every single yard on defense. So you get aggressiveness out of them, which for most teams is pretty intimidating. And even for this Dolphins team, is pretty intimidating to come against a team that plays with a little bit of reckless abandonment. That they're not perfect. They're not well refined. You don't know, and we've seen that with this year. You don't know what team you're going to get from the Buffalo Bills. Are you going to get the team that's won 4 games in a row, or are you going to get the team that lost 3 out of 4 games and also barely beat the New York Giants by a handful of points. We talked earlier. We disagree on which team we're going to get. We don't really know what team we're going to get from this Buffalo Bills team. I don't think they know coming into each individual game what game they're going to play. If you get them on their high, you could see us get beat by 28 points again. If you get them at their low, we could potentially beat them by 20 points. They don't get blown out a lot. A lot of people like to compare them, though, to like Mike Tyson. If you can get past those massive punches on both sides of the ball, if you can work them down into the third or fourth round, or in this case, the third or fourth quarter, and have the game be close, you feel a lot better. But if in the first quarter they come out and score 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives, and you settle for a field goal and then you punt and it's 14-3, you start to feel like you're just going to keep getting punched into the ground like we did last week against the Baltimore Ravens. So how we start this game on Sunday is so imperative to how the game is probably going to end up going.
100%. I think McDaniel, we've seen in recent weeks, given we went for it on that 4th and 5 that you're like, God, please just punt it.
Mike McStaley.
You call him Mike McStaley, and
I love him, but every now and then he has some Brandon Staley vibes.
So, for example, that 5 field goal game that we had against the Cowboys, I was surprised that we kicked some of those field goals. Honestly, I was surprised because it was like a 4th and
surprised
3,
in a bad
4th
way
and
or
2.
good way, maybe I guess depending on how you look at it.
Surprised in a good way because it shows me that McDaniel is growing as a play caller and as a head coach. At certain points you just got to take the points. I think that he's going to be so aggressive to start this game, just with the play calls, with the runs, with the end arounds, with the go routes. I think he's going to just want to punch them in their face with all this speed that they're going to have no idea what to do. Then they're going to scramble on offense, and we know what Josh Allen does when he has to. We talked about it. They're 5th most turnovers in the league. That's what this team does. When they get into a certain situation and they force things, given they're known to calm down, recollect themselves, and then fix it, but they do consistently turn the ball over, and that's what kept us in the game in the playoffs last year with Skylar Thompson as our quarterback. I think that's what's going to help us absolutely destroy them this week. And like I said before, I'm not talking about destroy them on the scoreboard. I'm talking about just utterly dominate them between the 20s.
One thing that you said that I'm not sure how much I agree with is the aggressiveness. Now, Mike McDaniel's probably going to do this in some nature, but the exact way they go about it, I do have my questions about coming out and being really aggressive from the jump because of the speed and all that. But all that speed right now is hurt. One of them has a walking boot on. One of them missed the game last week.
2 of them have walking boots on.
2 of them.
Actually, if you wanna get technical, Waddle probably isn't a walking boot too.
Or something's wrong with him that he's definitely hampered, right? So whether every now and then he walks on crutches, whether he has a boot on, whatever he's doing to help himself just walk right now, basically, pun intended, waddle right now, is probably what he's ended up doing. All of our speed is hurt. All of our speed is not going to be as quick. Like we saw a few weeks ago, Tyreek talk about how now DK has the quickest speed recorded so far this season. He's probably not going to reach that because of, he's got his ankle injury. Waddle's got his ankle injury. Raheem Mostert
ankle and knee.
Yeah, ankle and knee. Devon Achane has toe and ribs. Don't even know when he got the rib injury.
When did he get the rib injury?
I don't know. I'm just going based on
the man was in a walking boot midweek last week and still rushed for over 100 yards on the best defense in the entire NFL. So that man is a gem. And I cannot wait to see him once he gets healthier.
Yeah, me too. But that's not going to be this season because he's had these injuries now for multiple weeks. And both sides of the ball, all of your best players are on this injury report. On defense, you have Xavier Howard. You have Jalen Ramsey. Obviously, you have Bradley Chubb, who's not coming back. Zach Zeeler has an illness that he's dealing with. Jerome Baker is just coming back. Javon Holland still has both of his knees that are messing with him. Tyreek Hill on offense, he's got the ankle injury. All the other guys we just talked about, Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, Tua's there. So they're not going to be able to call the plays how they normally want to, because everywhere you look, every single position group on this team, most of them at the very least have one injury. Most of them have multiple injuries across every single position group. So this isn't going to be. I don't think this is going to be a Miami Dolphins game that we're going to be able to really control and play exactly how we want to. Kind of similar to the Cowboys game. That Cowboys game, we won it, but we didn't win it how we wanted to win. We don't win games based off of field goals. Last time we won a game based on field goals was week 18 last year, and what was the issue then? Injuries. So many injuries, and most importantly, at your quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going to win this game, it's going to be ugly. There's going to be, there's, like I said last week with the Ravens, there's going to be turnovers. There's going to be injuries.
I don't see
there's going to be a lot of
turning the ball over. I don't.
I think a lot of the timing is getting thrown off because of injuries, and even if it's not because of the injuries themselves, injuries when you can't trust your body, you lose trust in yourself and your abilities. Even if it's just by the slimmest of margins, you lose the ability to trust your ankle. You lose the ability for yourself to go out there and perform at the highest ability, even if it's wrong.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about, Hill, like...
I'm talking about everybody on this damn list.
I understand, but you said ankle specifically. Like, so Hill's still, like, he's getting down and protecting himself. He's not really making, like, the yards after catch like maybe he normally would. Mostert's been on those injuries pretty much all year, and he's having the best year of his entire career. Achane, like I said, he was in a walking boot 4 days prior to the game, and he's still balled out to the game. The only turnover we had last week that I can remember is Tua's interception that pretty much kind of like turned the game into turn the ball over. But that was the only one. And when he talked about it, and you can kind of tell from the tape as well, he was just pressing too hard. He was trying to make a play too hard. He was trying to do too much, and it cost the team. And I don't think that Tua is one of those guys to make that same mistake over and over and over again. That was his first turnover since the Titans game, and that was his first interception since before the Titans game.
There's so many people though that have just that little niggle going on. Niggle just for just had to clarify.
This fucking guy.
It was an LE, nothing else. Just little issue wrong with them. That you can point out. Yeah, Raheem Mostert's had injuries, but he's doing this. Yeah, oh crap. Alec Gold's had an injury every single week, and he just made the Pro Bowl. But it's everybody. You have 18 guys. Who's the worst guy on this list? Duke Riley, who's a starter now. Lester Cotton, who's a starter now. And then you look at the better players. Tua, Ramsey, Bradley Chubb, obviously he's done for the season. Teron Armstead. Like, there's just so much going on with this team that you talk about overcoming. You talk about overcoming adversity. You talk about toughness. This is going to be about as ultimate of a test of toughness and the ability to overcome and just being a team, being a unit together. They can funny. Get it done, but I'm definitely a little concerned.
That, especially with the specific words that you used. It's funny that you say that. Adversity is an opportunity, my friend.
Hey, finally someone popped into the chat. I know this is going to sound crazy, but as beat up as we are right now, let's rest the starters versus Buffalo to let them heal up for Kansas City for the wild card game.
Hell no. Like, look, I understand where you're coming from. I really do. Because, a healthier team would be great. But you're talking about, I'm not really worried about going into Kansas City. And as crazy as that sounds, I'm not scared of Kansas City.
I'm not scared, but
I don't want to go into Baltimore in the divisional round. I don't. And that's exactly what's going to happen, because if the Bills get the 2 seed, I'm sorry, they're going to beat whoever it is, whether it's the Colts or the Texans. It's actually going to be literally the Colts or the Texans if they win that game.
Or Steelers.
No, Steelers are out if the Bills win, no matter what.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
because the Saturday night game is a win and in for the
Yeah,
Texans and Colts.
and we're already locked in.
And we're already locked in. So it would be the Bills versus one of those two teams, and I got the Bills in that game. I do. So then it's going to go number 1 seed plays the number 6 seed, which would be us, and then the 2 seed plays the 5 seed, which would be the Browns. I don't want to go into Baltimore again. I don't. If I have to go into Baltimore, I'd rather do it in the AFC Championship game. I don't want to go in the divisional round. I'd rather have 2 home playoff games to at least get our confidence back after we just got pummeled by them.
And another thing that I'd say is all these injuries, they're not going to heal over 1 week.
Yeah.
These are injuries that guys have already been playing through. Teron Armstead, it says knee, back, and ankle, but I'm sure you could keep adding slashes, and there's more things that's affecting him.
He's been knee, back, and ankle since literally week 1.
I think since he came out of the womb.
Since he came out.
Devon Achane, his issue with his toe, Tyreek's ankle injury. Obviously, we got to see that happen against the Titans. Tua's injury with his shoulder is almost the only new injury. All of these injuries are already going on, and they're we play football. Surprising enough, looking at us. We both got a little bit of belly, but we play football every single Friday.
Yeah.
And we talk about taking a bye week, but even the little, injuries that, we both have hurt Achilles. My groin's a little messed up a little bit. You've got probably, I'm sure, other issues going on. Do you really feel that we're not playing tackle, we're playing 2-hand touch. Do you really think if you took a bye week, you would no longer be hurting 2 weeks from now?
Nah, especially with my Achilles, it's definitely going to take 3 or 4 weeks. But
you're still playing.
You saw and these guys are they're tougher than we are. I was
Speak for yourself.
Shut up. Whatever. Shut up. This fucking guy.
I am that guy.
I was able to go out there and still route you up with my hurt Achilles, given I took the next play off. But
you're on all fours as soon as you got off the route.
So
is Ogba going to fill in for Chubb? He's probably he's going to have to.
No, so Ogba was actually in a press conference today, and he was talking about how this is a big opportunity for him, and that they have to come together as a linebacker room and really step up for Chubb.
So basically, he's going to stop tweeting. He's going to stop tweeting before the game starts.
Okay, can you really blame him though? You were made inactive for a guy that was brought in a couple weeks ago from the practice squad.
Obviously, I wouldn't be happy, but I don't them take it publicly. Be mad, talk to coach, do what you got to do behind the scenes.
And I'm sure that was talked about behind the scenes after that tweet came out. I'm sure that the coaches went to him, especially Fangio. He's like, bro, don't do that shit. I'm sure he didn't say that exact word, but probably somewhere in the realm of those curse words.
I don't think he's ever the type to really hold his tongue.
Yeah, Fangio definitely not, but he definitely did.
This game, we're going to find out a lot, one way or another, whether it be, we overcome adversity, take down the Buffalo Bills, whether we get blown out, and then, you go into Arrowhead the next week and, what's going to overcome the Chiefs' inability to catch the ball, or the Dolphins' inability to beat good teams. What's going to happen there? I mean, me personally, I went into that Baltimore Ravens game really calm for multiple reasons that we're not going to get into. Hey, that's what I'm saying. I love how you always comment the same thing. Every time I see that comment, I know it's you. I'm going into this game just I'll end up with the calmness, and I'm just going to enjoy this moment. Because we have not had a lot of these moments as Miami Dolphins fans where we have the ability to win a game and get a home playoff game that we're going to be at if we do get to it. We haven't seen a lot of divisional crowns as Dolphins fans. We haven't seen a lot of playoff trips even as Miami Dolphins fans. We haven't seen a single playoff win. So look, are we going to win the Super Bowl? I'd lean probably not. Could we? Certainly. But this is a game that I want to just go into and be like, damn, let's see what happens. Let's enjoy this. So with that, how do you think, Donovan, this game is going to go?
Dolphins are going to come out firing, put 14, maybe 21 up on the first 3 drives. I think within those first 3 drives on offense, one of them, short field after a turnover from the Bills. I think things kind of calmed down a little bit till the second half. Then, turnover again, we score again, and it's going to end up being 30 to, say, 17.
Both of these teams have overcame adversity this year. With the Bills, we've already talked about the Dolphins, all the issues that we've seen so far this season, injuries, inability to be good teams, yada, yada. The Bills, they've had a lot of, internal issues. There's been reports of Sean McDermott losing the locker room. Stephon Diggs hasn't been happy recently because his performance has dropped. They had to fire coordinators mid-season. They've at times relied way too much on Josh Allen. They've had so many questions, as have we. They've had an up and down season, so have we at times, but they've even more significantly had an up and down season. They've got a must-win game that, if you lose and you miss the playoffs, you're probably looking at the coach getting fired. You're probably looking at an entire new coaching staff. Josh Allen's contract is going to continue to eat at this team. So with the Chiefs down, with the AFC South being pretty weak, you really pretty much have to go through the Baltimore Ravens. Whoever wins this division has to go through the Ravens as the 2 expected teams to win the AFC. Last week, I said earlier this week, by the way, thank you, Zane.
Thank you, Zane.
Appreciate you on that. And we'll talk about what you just said there in a second. Last week, I did the one thing that I always say I'm not going to do, and that is I lied. I didn't think we were going to beat the Ravens last week. I in the moment, I'm like, screw it. I'm going to say we're going to win. I hold myself to I say what I mean what I say at all times. And whether you like it, whether you hate it, look, at least you know that you're getting a genuine answer out of me. So when I look at this game, so many things going wrong for both teams, so many things that are questionable for both teams. Such a big game. The Dolphins, you win. You prove yourself that you can win through adversity. The Buffalo Bills, Sean McDermott, you keep your job. You win the division again. The division is still yours. I'm going to tell the truth. I got the Bills winning. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Look,
I wish I could throw this at you.
I come here. I plug in this microphone. I plug in this computer. If I'm just going to sit here and lie to you guys, then y'all don't have any business watching this channel, all right? Look, we're just 2 bozos. We're just as much Miami Dolphins fans as you guys are. Zane, Malong, everybody that we've ever had watch these streams.
He's a Ravens fan.
Y'all. I do also like the Ravens, but I'm a Dolphins fan first. Got the hat. I got Dolphins merch somewhere else in here. See, I got a Dolphins thing hanging up on the wall.
He wanted to wear a Ravens hat on the stream last
That was
week.
a joke. All right. Actually, I did put it on. Remember? I put it on over the Dolphins hat, and I put the Dolphins hard hat on too.
This guy.
I hate the Buffalo Bills.
Ain't no way you actually think the Bills are going to win.
I do. I think I've said for weeks now that I think the Bills are a top 5 team in this league. I think because of where they are in the standings, because of some issues they've had on the offensive side of the ball under a different offensive coordinator, I think we still hold them to the sins of what it looked like back then. I think their offense is completely different. I trust
their offenses look like shit the last 2 weeks.
That's not true at all. They may have not. Wait, hear me out. Now, Josh Allen had that one game where he threw less than 100 yards. They won that game by 30 points. They can finally run the ball. James Cook has turned into a trustworthy running back. He's 5th in the NFL, or he's somewhere in the top 5 in rushing yards in the NFL. Has almost 1,100 yards. Only has, oddly enough, 2 touchdowns on the ground. But when they get to the red zone, it doesn't really matter who touches the ball. They score particularly well, and they can run the ball really well. They have the 6th most rushing touchdowns in the league. They're less injured than us right now. They've got almost.
No, they're not.
They have.
They
guys,
are not less
yes,
injured.
Dog, look at our injury report. Yes, they have.
We got
guys
that are banged. They got less guys that are banged up, but their starters are just. Bro, they're gonna be without Tre'Davious White, who is the only person that did anything to stop Tyreek Hill last time. Given Tyreek's a little banged up, he's still that guy. He's still gonna get open.
A whole bunch of other guys. I don't want us to win, dude.
Matt Milano. They
are in form right now.
Out.
Even if it's not been pretty. They're winning games.
Let's put it.
Tua? What do you mean watch Tua?
Who's gonna rush Tua?
Oh, rush Tua.
Gregory Rousseau. I'm sorry. Austin Jackson's got that man beat. He got him on lockdown. I don't care. Teron Armstead on the other side. Von Miller's been he was just a healthy scratch.
Brother, I hope I'm wrong.
You are wrong.
I hope I am.
This is crazy.
I hope I am.
Bro, you're saying that they won by 2 points against the Chargers and then barely won against the Patriots 27-21.
And then what happened the 2 weeks before that?
The 2 weeks before that, they beat the Chiefs on some BS ref calls.
No, I didn't. Name one BS ref call.
In that game, what wasn't that not the
That was the Kadarius Toney game. The Kadarius Toney offsides game.
Oh, they were getting robbed all game before that. Even that was the right call. That was Kadarius Toney was the right call. However, they were getting robbed before that game too. But they still only beat them by 3 points, and the Chiefs' offense has been abysmal. Cowboys game,
they utterly destroyed them.
31-10 at home. Cool.
They destroyed them.
Cool.
Look, I hope I'm wrong. But look, I come here, I sit here, I tell the truth. I think that I'm going to go. What was your score prediction?
I said 30-17.
30-17. I'm going to go with Buffalo Bills 24-14.
14? Bro,
yeah.
Someone get this man off of crack cocaine.
Never tried it, never will. All right, now let's get into what y'all are saying. So first, Buffalo has not been playing exceptionally well. They beat the Chargers and Patriots by combined 8 points, so we might have legit. Yeah, see, look, he's saying might have a chance.
Yeah, it's more than a legit chance, dude. We're going to absolutely destroy them between the 20s. Like I said, it's not necessarily going to be on the scoreboard. 30-17, by all means, is not destroying anybody. It's 13 points. Whoop-de-fucking-do. It's not destroying anybody on the scoreboard. It's destroying them. We're going to outgain them in yards. We're going to get over 400 yards from scrimmage. They're barely going to get over 250. We're going to get 2 or 3 turnovers from the Bills. We're not going to turn the ball over. This is not going to be a close game if you're watching the game. It's going to be exactly how you were talking about the Bills-Patriots game last week, how it got close at times, but you felt very comfortable that the Bills were going to win against the Patriots the entire time. That's how this game is going to go, except it's probably going to be a little bit further of a gap than the Patriots and Bills had. I feel good. It felt great about the Dolphins just trouncing the Bills. I don't see how this Bills defense can stop our offense. I don't care that we're banged up. I don't. We put up 70 without Waddle on a better defense.
It's not just Waddle. It's an entire page of players. And
Achane just put up over 100 yards from scrimmage. Mostert finally got a week off to rest his legs. He's going to be back even better. So our rushing game is going to be there. Eichenberg is going to be fine. Teron Armstead, he's been playing really well besides that one snap that I sent you where the play call or the play wasn't supposed to be snapped, but the loud stadium caused a miscommunication from what he said. Austin Jackson's playing exceptionally well. The only concern I really have on this offensive line would be in the interior, and I don't trust any of their interior defensive linemen. I don't, bro.
Ed Oliver,
cool.
You keep just saying cool. That doesn't change anything. You said cool. They destroyed the Cowboys.
Ed Oliver against Eichenberg and Robert Jones. That's who's going to be blocking him. Who's Ed Oliver got next to him? Who does he have next to him? Jordan Phillips ain't there.
Look,
Lawson's probably not going to play.
I hope you're right. I just think you're not. Simple as.